Hello everyone, welcome back to another video, and in this one we are going to be over all of the zonai devices in Tears of the Kingdom. So, hope you enjoy, and let's get started. Alright, so the first one we are going to be talking about is the fan. This one's pretty standard, you see it everywhere, and it's very practical. Very simple. You hit it on, it creates air, you can use it for temporary updraft, you can attach it to wings or carts. For example, if you were to attach a fan to a cart, all I gotta do is hop on, not that fan, but whatever, and takes you on your way. Little boost, pretty much needed, gets you where you need to go. Very simple. Alright, next up we had the wing. Zonai device that you can use to fly, harness the wind. Pretty simple. For flying machines, fairly large. Some trick that I like to do is you hold it up in the air like this. Actually, fans also work better if you attach, or wings also work better if you attach fans to them. So you can raise them up in the air like this for a few seconds, then go back, use recall, like so. Get right on top. And you can use them for your flying machines. That didn't work very well, but you get the idea. Another cool fact is, if you were to fuse them to your shield, notice this is a regular shield jump, and when you have the wing on, you go much higher. So you can use this for getting bullet time whenever you need to fight enemies, and it's great for just like hopping over stuff. So that is the wing. Next up we have the cart, a movable device, kinda small. I showed you earlier. You can just attach fans to it and you'll be on your way. It is slightly limited in terms of maneuverability because of how small these wheels are. It's only great for flat surfaces like around here, but if you're going to do anything more, I would recommend the Sled because that has way less friction. So these can be used to make little driving vehicles, like so. Just attach a steering stick and a fan, and you are off on your way. You can zoom around the map, just so that I avoid this. Put on Majora's Mask. Yeah. So that is what the cart does in Tears of the Kingdom. Moving on. Next up is the balloon. Standard device, a zonai device, it's just like a hot air balloon. This works well when paired with the flame emitter. All you gotta do is rotate it up like this, insert it, and find some sort of suitable steady platform. In this case, I'll just use a cart. Attach it on, hit it, hot air fills the balloon, and you rise upwards. Pretty simple. There's not really a lot of other uses for it than just going straight up, but yeah, pretty cool. All you need is a flame emitter and a balloon, and you're completely fine. Alright, moving on. Next up, we have the rocket. One of my favorites because it takes you straight up. All you gotta do is rotate it upwards, hit it, and blast off. I actually need it back, so I'm gonna recall. Just like that. So these, one of my favorite uses, I mainly use these. You can attach them to your shield, and then you can rocket jump. Just like that. And then that gives you plenty of height to do whatever you want. And you can also attach them to vehicles to make them go faster. So right here, for example, I have a rocket attached to a cart, turn it on, and we zoom across the land. See, look at how fast backward I'll be going here in a second. It's really great for that. So yeah, that's the rocket. Next up is the time bomb, designed device for a timed explosion. So this is basically just a bomb, but whenever you hit it, it will activate. Make sure you're standing far away, and then it does a large explosion. This is great for tackling enemy camps. For example, if I was to come above this enemy camp, drop a fair bit of time bombs, and make my way out. Boom! Absolutely wasted. So, that's a practical use for the time bomb. Moving on. Next up, we have the portable pod. In my opinion, one of the best and most useful devices of all of them is you just take one out. It's like an automated cooking pot, takes you directly to your cooking menu. You can select a bunch of whatever you want to do and toss them in. So this cooking pot, it's kind of limited because after you cook one meal, it disappears. They wouldn't want you having infinite meals. So I would recommend stocking up on these whenever you want, because then if you're like, whenever you're gonna run out of food, you just gonna cook meals on the go. So yeah, it's great use for that. Moving on. Next up is the flame emitter. This one, I had said earlier, works really well with the balloon because you can make it go infinitely up, and it's just really cool. Pretty simple. You turn it on, it creates fire. You can point it in whatever direction you want, and it's great for combat. If we were to take it over to this local enemy camp, Silver Bokoblin over here sees me. All I gotta do is take this flame up to him, and then just burn the heck out of him. I just burned his shield. Just keep going to light him up. This red guy too, you want some fire. So yeah, this is great for combat and maneuverability, because you can pair it with the hot air balloon, or you can just attach it to all your like mech builds for fire aspect. So yeah, that is the flame emitter. Next up is the frost emitter. Very similar to the flame emitter, just has a slightly different design. And since it's frost emitter, instead of emitting flame, it emits, you guessed it, frost. So this is basically the same as the flame emitter in terms of combat applications, but you can't use it for maneuverability, y'all. It's one of my less used zonai devices because how limited it is. Here, I'll just take it over to this enemy camp and show you. The Silver Bokoblin over here sees me. He doesn't want any of this frost emitter. Bring it up to him, and you can do a massive damage shock because of the 3-time damage. Let's freeze him again. Boom! Oh, I froze myself. Get unleashed. So yeah, if you use a more damage weapon like this, for example, if you freeze him, ooh, I have him at the end of the line, so he's just got instantly frozen. Yep, and now he's dead. Haven't had one of those yet. Oh, dang it, I keep freezing myself. So yeah, that is the frost emitter. Here, resist, I'm gonna freeze this guy real quick. Boom! All dead. Alright, so that is the frost emitter. Moving on. Next item on the list is going to be the shock emitter. You probably know what it does by now, considering we've had the flame, frost, and the shock. Pretty simple. You turn it on, and it does this. If you walk by, it'll shock you. This one isn't as like ranged as the other ones because, like the flame emitter, if we attach them together, see the difference? Since this one stops like about here, but the flame keeps going all the way over to here. So this one, you kind of have to get in close and personal with them. If you want to get to turn on, I'll demonstrate again. So as you can see, we're going to walk up with this. I'm wearing Majora's Mask right now, so they're probably all going to run away. This guy up here. He keeps dropping his stuff. Doc. So yeah, this one's great for... Oh, shock myself. Whoops. And you just keep dropping their weapons. This one's great for a lot of things since it's not as big of a range as other stuff. You kind of have to like get up close and personal with it. I'm okay with that because it's pretty cool, and you can also use it for a bunch of you can use it for a bunch of cool things. So yeah, moving on. Next up is the beam emitter. It's the last of the emitters, and in my opinion, probably the coolest, because when you turn it on, it shoots out this beam that goes really far. And like, I bet I could get the guy from over here. Maybe not quite. But if we were to zoom in a little bit. Yep, I just got him from over there. So like, watch his health. He's coming for me. Probably the best of emitters because you can hit people from way back. See, I'm destroying this guy right now. Yeah. That is the beam emitter. Alright, next one. Next up, we got the hydrant. It's basically an infinite water source. It's like a fire hydrant. You turn it on, it starts spewing water. You can use this for a couple things, mainly on lava. It'll produce a little platform for you, and it'll also keep you cool, like if you watch my temperature meter. When I'm gushing water, and then when I'm not, it cools me down ever so slightly, since I'm like dripping wet right now. And then if I let myself, yeah, I'm dripping right now. So, yeah, it just produces water. That's kind of it. Alright, next one. Next one, I know a lot of you are looking for. It's called the steering stick. This is a must-have for almost all of your zonai build. All of your zonai builds. So we could have this cart, where it'll just take us infinitely in that direction. Or, we grab a steering stick, put it on with us, and now we can control where we go. Say I want to go over to this little mountain here. Boom, I can do that. If I want to turn away, zoom, I can go the other way. This is great for any vehicle you have. It's like a must-have for everything. So I recommend it to you if you do not have it. Moving on. Next up, we have the big wheel. It's one of the better modes of transportation if you want to make a tank. So, for example, the device I have saved in auto build for tank, this thing, it uses large wheels because those are best for having a tank. Now, obviously I'm not going to make that right now, but if you were to make anything that requires wheels, you're probably going to want something that has big wheels. So like this, or something over here I have, it uses big wheels because those are tanks. So yeah, they're also great. Get back here. They always seem to roll away whenever you leave them by themselves. They're also great for making spinning contraptions, like, so let's say I want to make a cool fire tornado. You just do that, go here. As you can see, I have this little machine. Hit it, and boom, fire tornado. It just spins, it can spin on its side, it spins whatever direction it wants, and you can attach whatever you want to it. So, as you can see right now, I have this, whoops, you can have a look. I have this really cool device. Just ran out of battery, great. Why is it not going? Zoom, fire everywhere. You can even ride it. That's kind of funky. Just don't get up there because you'll be burned. Alright, moving on. Next up is the small wheel. It's like a version of the big wheel, except it's faster. You can go in reverse, but it doesn't do very well on uneven terrain. So I have a device saved in auto build of down here somewhere of bike that I made with these. Let's find a better one. Obviously, I've weaponized this a little bit, but as you can see, if I take all the extra random stuff off, we have a functional car. It works better, and watch, you can go into reverse. I just have a light and a battery on front, but you can just let it zoom forward at its own speed, or you can lean into it to increase your moving speed a little bit. Also, like I said, this does not do well with hills at all. So this part of the map in Hyrule Field is where you're going to want to be using these most of your time. Alright, moving on. Next up, we have the sled. This is very similar to the cart, except it doesn't have wheels, so you can make way better builds out of it. Like, for example, we want to put this fan here. And we're going to add a steering stick. It looks better and it works better. You can drive this over anything, whether that's sand, grass, snow, whatever you want. It has a very large amount of drift, but it's way better on more surfaces than the actual cart is, and it slows down a little faster, so it's a little bit more fun. And you can also fuse it to your shield for a functional surfboard, pretty much. Yeah. All right, moving on. Next up is the battery. So this is an interesting one because this is just I mean, it's pretty self-explanatory. You have a thing, you attach a battery to it. When you hit it, it takes energy out of the actual battery instead of out of your personal energy charge that you have right above the word thing. So you can enjoy all your zonai devices, but you don't have to use your battery. So this is great for large builds like this or other things that use up battery fast. You can just attach battery, and also when they run out, they will disappear like so. Come on. And then you're left with your own energy again. But small price to pay for having an extended energy charge. Next one is kind of the same thing, just a little bit better. The big battery. This one contains it's like multiple batteries in one. It just contains way more extra charge. And if we turn it on, here, I'm gonna cut the grass so you can see it better. You can see that's not draining at all. Not at all. It's like it's still pretty much full. So these are great for large builds, like the tank I have saved in auto build. It requires 2 large batteries because of how expensive this is. But yeah, so that is the big battery. Next one. Next up is the spring. We're getting close to the end here. Anyway, these pretty self-explanatory. You hit it, it expands. You hit again, it contracts. So if we climb on top, launches us straight up into the air. We can do whatever we want. We could go attack over there, or we can drop back down. In addition, the more springs you attach, not that, no. If we were to put 2 on top of each other instead of 1, notice the height I gain is a lot larger than before because there's double the boinging power. The more springs you have, the higher you go. You can also use this for contracting and expanding stuff on your builds, like if you wanted a closable door. These are what you'd go for. Alright, next thing. Next up is the one a lot of you have been looking for, the cannon. What it does, pretty self-explanatory, I'm sure a lot of you have seen these. It just fires an explosive cannonball wherever you point it. You can aim out over there. It's really fun to use. It's like a must-have in every single one of your zonai builds. The bad news is it does use quite a lot of battery. So, dang it. Keep hitting myself. So anyway, yeah, it's very powerful. It can explode you and everything you have. So yeah, just careful of the cannon. Next up is a handy one for puzzles, the stabilizer. Whenever you hit it, it balances perfectly up. So if we have a really unstable build like these, all you gotta do is attach, here, let's actually turn this off real quick. All you gotta do is attach the stabilizer, and see, it immediately goes upright. So this is useful for wonky builds you have when, if they're not standing upright. There's another cool trick I want to show you. Let's do that. Right, we can't take off anymore, otherwise it won't work. So if we have this thing right here, and we were to attach it this corner over here, we were standing here and we were to hit it would automatically go upright. Doesn't matter where it is, what you do with it. It just creates like this catapult almost. So if we were standing here, if I was standing there correctly, it would have just knocked me over. So yeah, pretty cool. Next thing is the hover platform. These are pretty self-explanatory. You hit the button, and then they just stay wherever you put them. So you can use them to make little platforms in the sky. Also, fun fact, if you shoot them off your arrow, they're right here. They'll deploy a short distance away. I'm using a multi-shot bow right now, so it obviously doesn't work. But yeah, you can use these to make little hover islands. Kind of fun. When you deactivate them, they just fall to the ground. Alright, next up, we have the light. Pretty self-explanatory. Nothing much to it. You turn it on, it produces light. You can use these as lights for your builds when you're exploring in the depths, or pretty much anything you want. Yeah, that's it. Moving on. Getting pretty close to the end here, we got the stake. So the stake, you can't like turn it on or anything, but whenever you can, or it turns orange whenever you use it, and then you can put it into the ground to make like, if we were building a really difficult thing like this, we wanted it to stay upright, we could just attach it to the stake and it will stay there. So you can slot this into walls even. Over here, I didn't get close enough. Boom. Stake got in, so now this is a climbable wall. Yeah, it's pretty great for building, for using builds. People also use them as like arms in their mechs. Yeah, it's pretty cool. Alright, moving on. Next up, we have the mirror. It focuses and reflects light. It's mostly used for puzzles, like if we were to turn this light on. I'm not sure if the mirror reflects this light. In the daytime, it'll just reflect whatever light is there. You can use it to blind enemies. It's used a lot for puzzles at the lightning temple. Yeah, pretty straightforward. Not a lot of other practical uses though. Moving on, the homing cart and the Sentry. I'm kind of combining these into two because they're both pretty easy to understand. we were to get a beam emitter or two out, this construct head, when activated, will just look around and it'll look at whatever is an enemy. So you can use this to make automated turrets and whatever you want. So if we were to attach these and brought it over to the camp, this will shoot beams at whatever enemy it sees. So yes, very useful for any combat application you're ever going to do. So these things, homing carts, are kind of similar. They're like, they look like Roombas kind of, and they kind of just go towards whatever's an enemy. So if we were to put this on top of here, and drag this over toward the enemy, now that we have our little robot machine of death, we're going to activate it, we're going to roll forward, it's going to notice that there's an enemy over there, and it's going to come and try attack it. And it can't hit it, so it's just going to continually hit him until it stops. So very useful for making automated machines of death. Also good for funny pictures. It literally can't hit him and is killing him. And I'll continue to target him right up until he's dead. So, yeah. That is all of the zonai devices in Tears of the Kingdom. I hope you enjoyed this video over everything this game has to offer in terms of zonai creation. Thanks for watching, and I will see you in the next video.